Students, today I am going to take up the topic of nutrition in human beings as a part of lesson number 6, Life Processes in Science for Standard 10th. Nutrition in human beings deals with the digestive system, which in turn involves the alimentary canal extending from the mouth to the anus. Now, we eat different kinds of food. What happens to the food once it reaches into the body? That is what we are going to learn today. Now, the first part of the alimentary canal is the mouth. This mouth contains teeth, tongue and the salivary glands. The teeth is responsible for cutting down the food into smaller particles. The salivary glands secrete saliva. Saliva mixes with the food and converts it into a soft ball-like structure. And the tongue helps to roll this food within the mouth during the process of chewing. The saliva contains a biological catalyst which is known as the salivary amylase, and that helps to break down the complex starch present in the food into simple sugar. Now this food needs to come down into the stomach. The food slowly moves down into the stomach through a structure called as the esophagus. The lining of the esophagus contains a typical muscle which is responsible for carrying out rhythmic contractions which pushes the food into the stomach. This is called as peristaltic movements. The stomach is a muscular organ. The muscular walls of the stomach contains gastric glands which releases gastric juices. Now the gastric juices are hydrochloric acid, pepsin and mucus. Now hydrochloric acid is responsible for creating an acidic medium for the action of pepsin. Pepsin is a protein digesting enzyme and mucus is responsible for protecting the inner layer of the stomach from the acid. The hydrochloric acid is also responsible for killing the harmful bacteria in the stomach. Now, the muscular walls of the stomach churn the food, mix it up thoroughly with the gastric juices and pushes the food into the small intestine. Now, there is the sphincter muscle which is present at the end of the stomach allows the passage of the food into the small intestine. Now the small intestine is actually a very long structure. So it gets coiled up into this compact space as you can see on the screen. This small intestine receives secretions from the liver and the pancreas. Now the liver secretes the bile juice which is stored in the gallbladder, and the gallbladder is located under the liver here. Now, the food that comes from the stomach is basically acidic in nature. It has to be converted into an alkaline form for the action of the pancreatic enzymes. Now, bile is also responsible for breaking down of the fat molecules. Next, we move on to the pancreas. The pancreas secretes the enzymes trypsin and lipase. Trypsin and lipase. Trypsin is responsible for digesting the proteins, whereas lipase is responsible for breakdown of the fats. The food also receives secretions from the walls of the small intestine, which helps in the breakdown of proteins into amino acids, complex carbohydrates into glucose and fats into fatty acids and glycerol. The inner walls of the small intestine have got small finger-like structure which are called the villi, and they increase the surface area for absorption of the digested food. The absorbed digested food in the small intestine is taken into the blood with the help of these villi, and then it is used up for the release of energy, building up of new tissues or repair of the worn out or old tissues. The undigested remaining part of the food goes into the large intestine. Now, in the large intestine, water and salts are absorbed by the villi present in the large intestine, and the remaining unwanted material or waste material is thrown out of the body through the opening that is called the anus. And this is how nutrition in human beings take place and the process of digestion is completed.